Okay, I just basically wanted to try a few things here. I explained about the tiles again. The tiles are 10 by 10, and so it's 10 from one red line to the other, and it's a complete square, so 10 across each direction. And if you look at these buildings, I would like to create an Adobe set of these buildings, so where you can group them together like this. And if you look, the corners, only 25% of the building is actually or only 25% of the tile is being taken up by the building, and if you go to this one, it's less than half. So basically, since it's taking up less than half of the tile, but when they created these, they didn't cap off the ends. So if you was to just look at this tile by itself, it'd be open and you'd see through it because it's a model, but it's butted up. They put these little walls in there to divide, so in case depending on which buildings got put next to which. I don't like the idea of the wall system. What I want to do is create side walls to my building, like say the top of this building has, but create it all the way down so it's all the way around. And therefore, I can have some buildings out the red line, some at the sidewalk, some back here, and it don't matter where they fall at. When they're side by side and they're butted up against each other, it'll all be locked into one another. I like that idea, and we'll see how it works. I'm also not going to use sidewalks since it's going to be in the desert. It's a desert tile set, and basically I'm creating these buildings for my desert tile set that I'm working on. Anyhow, that being said, we'll come in here. I'm going to hit Shift A, and that'll bring up Shift A will bring up a menu. I'm going to create a cube, and now I am going to do say 1, and I'm going to do Tab to go into edit mode and do Shift Z. Or was I already in edit mode? Tab, yeah, I was already in edit mode. Okay, there. So now I'm going to, if I hit 1, that'll change it to verts, as you see up here. If I hit 2, they'll change it to edges, and if I hit 3, they'll change it to faces. I'm going to work with verts at the moment. So, or you can click on these. You don't have to hit the numbers, but if you want to use numbers, it could be quicker. Now I'm going to hit N to bring out my properties bar or navigation bar or whatever you want to call it, and I want to go, and I make sure I have it on global. So I'm going up to there to 0. I'm going to set this to 5. Everything to the right is a positive, so I'm going to go positive 5. And everything to the left is a negative, but I'm going to go to 0 on that. And then I'm going to hit 3 to go to the opposite side. I'm going to do the same thing. 5 positive to the side, and 3, and then a 0 on that. And as you look, I'm only taking up a quarter here. A tile is based off the center of this coming out, so it'd be 5 this way, 5 this way, 5, 5, and that would give us our 10 across. Well, I'm only doing a quarter of it right now. And the reason for that being is it just makes it a little easier to work with certain things. So I'm going to hit the top of this. I'm going to hit extrude like so, and then I'm going to, or I'm at inset, and then E for extrude, and I set that down to like so, and that'll give me that. And then I'm going to hit shift, and then I'm going to open this. Let's go to not select anything, hit 2. I'll select this edge, these edges, these edges, these edges, and well, actually I don't need those edges. I just need these outside edges. Those are the ones I need right there. Now I'm just going to hit bevel, so I'm going to hit Control B for bevel, and that'll allow me to bevel my edges. Now if I want, I can hit the scroll bar on the mouse and scroll up and get more, but I just want 1, and I don't want it to be massive. I just want to knock the edge off the corners, so to make it look a little more rounded. So when we go out of edit mode, tab, it just gives it a little more, knocks off the corners a little bit, gives it a little bit more rounded look about it. So that being said, and the top as well. Now I will go back into edit mode, and I will hit 3, and we'll go over this face. I'm gonna do I for inset, and I'll do the same thing over here. I'm gonna do I for inset, and now I'm going to deselect everything, hit 2, go to edges, and I'm going to drop this to say 2.5 on the global, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Drop this to 2.5 on the global. We'll take this one up to say 1, and we'll take this one up to 1, and we're going to bring this one here to say 3, and this one here to 3 as well. And this inner one, we're going to go to set this at 1, and we're going to set this one at 1 as well. Now what this does is we set it as 5 to the outside here, and if this is 3, that gives us 2 in between these two. If this is 1, then this is 0, that gives us 1 here. But when we create a double of it on the other side, then we'll actually have 2 between the two windows. So it'll give us kind of an even space look, and that's basically what I'm going for. So that being said, deselect everything, hit 3 for faces. Now E for extrude, and bring that in, and we want to set that at 4.6, and do the same thing over here. E for extrude, and we want to set this at 4.6, and there's our windows in place, right? So that being said, okay, so the next step I want to do would be, let's deselect everything. Let's go to vertices, which is 1. I'm going to do away with these two here because I don't need those, and that did away with our faces as well. That's good. I'm going to set this to 0 on both these axes. That'll center it up. I want to set I want to set some of these. This one I don't need. I get rid of that. Now this I want to set to along the y-axis. I want to set to 0. I'll set this one to 0. This one needs to set to 0. Now we don't need this here either. Yeah, this needs set to 0, and this should already be set. Yeah. Okay. So all those are set to 0s. That's what I need. So we're just cleaning it up a bit. Getting rid of this one, which we don't need. These two should be the same. We can double check by just clicking on 1. Yep, X0. Now 0. And delete that. And then set this one to 0 as well. Now all those are lined up the same. Okay, so now we got our Adobe roof. We've got it rounded. We got our windows. Looking good. So we'll get out of edit mode. I'm going to hit Shift D. What that does is give us another copy, right? But I don't want to move this. I want it to stay right where it's at. So if you want to verify that it actually made a copy, you can hit G, Z, and come up and see you made a copy. And just do a right click again. It snaps it back into place. What I want to do is right click and mirror that along the y-axis, the green. So let's mirror that along the y-axis there. And now I'm going to shift on both these. And now I'm going to Shift D to create a copy. And once I've created that copy, I'll hit a left click. And then I'm going to do a mirror. And I'm going to do it along the x-axis this time. So mirror, x-axis. There we go. And now I'm just going to hit A, select everything. Since everything's selected, I'm going to hit Control J, which will join them. So now that they're all joined, I'll hit A again. We're already in edit mode, so I will hit select A, select all. Once I've selected all, now I'll go to meshes and I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to remove doubles. I want that set to 0.01 for what I'm working on. You can set it further out, but it just makes anything close within a 0.01 of each other, it'll connect them and then get rid of the extra. So that's why I want that. That works out pretty good for me for what I want. Now to double check to make sure it worked, you hit G, Z, and as you see, it's all connected. So I'm going to see what I can get rid of here. Remove dissolve vertices, and I was able to dissolve that one. Let me see about lines here, or edges here. See what all I can dissolve. I can see if I can dissolve these ones in here. Dissolve edges. Yeah, let me dissolve that. And dissolve edges. Let me get rid of that one. So I'll try to get rid of as many of these as I can. And the reason why I say is you can't, it's going to be limited some, because as you made changes to the model and offset things and whatnot, that some of them, there's lines or edges are needed to support the things that you did. So dissolve edges. So it's just finding what ones you can get rid of without really affecting your model. Now, if you look, tab, we now have an Adobe building with windows in all 4 sections. So, and it's the size of 1 tile, 10 by 10. So now, if I set this in, it doesn't matter if the one next to it's short, because then I have stuff there. Now, the windows will matter a little bit, so you could take out the side windows and just have front windows if you want. Then going to, we have a building now, but this, if you want a building and you don't want to care if it has a door to it because it's just going to be part of the other buildings, then that's fine, you can leave it. However, I would like a door for this building. So tab, we will take and go to 1 vertices, and I am going to go 1. Let's go to this view, and I'm going to hit, or no, I don't. Let's do, I don't want to do 1 because then I'll affect these windows on the other side. See, if I go 1, they're lined up perfectly. So if I grab this and go G, Z, see, it affected the ones on the other side. We don't want to do that. So, but by having it in mesh mode or in wire mode, I can select all the vertices that I want. And now I can go to, say, 0. Well, first, before that, let's go to faces. I'm going to take out this face, so delete face. So I just took out that face on that side, and I'm going to take out edges as well. So just these 2 edges. So delete edges. Now I will go back to 1, which is vertices, and I'll select these vertices, and I'm going to set these to 0. I put it at the floor. And then a doorway needs to be 3 high. So let's set that to 3 for Neverwinter Nights. And this is 3 and this is 1, so that's 2, which is the width of a door. So that's fine. And now, you know what, I want to fill this backside in. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it probably did fill there. That just put us a backdrop in like we got in the windows. And other than that, okay, so the next step would be, let's see, I want to go to faces, and I want to set these 2 faces. I want to set these in at -3. That gives us a little more room, so let's do let's go back to non-wireframe mode. See, it gives you more of a room to step in once you open up the door to the house to walk in for your area transition. I'm going to grab all these windows, and I'm going to separate them from the inner parts and the door, separate them from the actual building. So what I do is got to do Y and G, and that cut them. And now I'm going to do tab, or I mean select all, and I'm going to hit P and select it into parts, and then get out of mode. And now you notice each one of these are separate, but I want to relink these together, and not so they're together as one, but not as part of the building, since they're not part of the building anymore. Now I'll hit Control J, which will join them. And once they're joined, now you'll see that they're all one. By doing that, I can now go to the textures here, or to the objects, and I can create a texture for it, and we're going to call it black. B-L-A. Okay, whoop. I actually hit the. Okay, 01 maybe is what we'll hit. Now, once that is done, I'll go down here and I select this here and select image textures, and then go down here and then I can select the file, which is it's in my Blender folder under textures, and it's just called black. There. Okay, so there's that. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add one, but I'm going to call it Adobe 01 maybe. Try something like that. And go down here, hit image textures, click here, go to where I have the textures at, which is in my Blender folder under textures, and I believe I have an Adobe. There's an Adobe one. Okay. Now, what I wanted to show you was go to this mode here, so you can see. If you look, I applied that texture, but see how it stretched it in these windows and stuff? It just doesn't look that good. Well, this add-on that I told you guys about in another video called Magic UV, which I just absolutely love, will allow us to fix that. I'll hit tab on this to go into edit mode. I'll select all, and now I'll come up here, hit UV box, and then you look at the pattern on this. See how it repeats because it's at 1. Now look, we'll go to 5 and space it out a little more. We'll go to 10 and space it out a little more. So you can decide on how you want it spaced, and then you go through and it fixes it. It's not stretched anywhere. It's all fixed. So now we have, take it out of edit mode, we have our Adobe house. And you can have these as curtains, you know, with the windows if you wanted. Curtain material or something, or shutters, wooden shutters, or just a black space. I just did black quickly to show. You can have this is black, so then when you put a door on it, you open it up, you have your area transition, you see the black, but you go into it, step into the area transition, and transition to the interior part of the tile set. But there is an Adobe building. Now, if I want to, like I talked about having different ones with sizes, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if I went to, say, select all this and then go to tab to edit, or not tab, tab, and then go to screen, so I'm edit mode with everything. I can very easily select all the vertices and then do like G, Y, and slide it back and forth, or make different depths if I wanted. I can also fairly easily just grab this here and go G, Z, and extend it if I wanted to. I can take and let's go back to this mode for a minute. I can take and grab everything and hit D or Shift D, and that would, did the screencast click off? Hold on. Anyhow, if I selected everything, I can go Shift D and then not extend, but what it would be, it'd be G, and I could bring it up. Want to do G, Z, and then I could bring it up, and then I could fix these seams and seam it together and take out the door, put it as a window. Then you have a 2-story, or if you wanted to go a 3-story, and you do it again, And then if you wanted the top story to be offset a little differently, you can always just do like what I was doing, tab, screen mode, and I can pull these windows and stuff back, G, Y, move this back, and then you got a ledge on the upper area, or whatever. You can play around with it and create what you want out of. If you just wanted a tower, you can move all this back to where it's just a square in a corner at the top of this building. You can bring GZ. What? No, my bad. G tab there. G X. We'll use that for example. X. Bring it over here, and then we can GZ and bring it down to here. Now you have a side building off of it, or tab if you wanted GZ. Now you wanted a building off of it, and even though this is stretched now, you want that texture fixed. Box. Oh, no, my bad. Tab. There, texture's fixed. So there's so much you can do with it. Program's awesome, but you can make some Adobe buildings and textures and texture them and whatnot. Hopefully this is useful to you, and sorry that the video ended up being longer than some of the others, but I hope you are able to utilize it to create some content that you want. Thanks a lot. Like if you like it, follow or whatever, but I'm mainly just creating this to try to get more people involved into modeling. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. See you at the next video.